stage is set in Rome for the funeral of Pope Benedict. His body, which has been on public view in the Vatican since his death on Saturday, has been placed within the first of 3 layers of coffins he will be buried in after his funeral service tomorrow. His successor, Pope Francis, will preside over that. He remembered Benedict today as a man of acute but gentle thought. But Benedict's legacy is still being debated, as Julie has been hearing.
In the Eternal City, preparations for a moment in history. The first pope to resign in 600 years to be laid to rest by his successor. After spending his last years largely hidden from view, the body of former Pope Benedict has been in full public sight. Nearly 200,000 have come to see him, some simply curious, many in deep devotion.
For me, he was someone who was very simple and very humble. That's what I like about him.
She would like to come in Vatican one more time. She's old and she met the Pope, and she was linked with the Pope in the heart.
He meant a lot to a lot of people, and he made a lot of reforms in the Catholic Church as well, which have helped people be better, I guess.
This morning, Pope Francis again paid tribute too, as many assess Pope Benedict's legacy. His theological writings and his gentle personal manner inspired many. But for others, his hardline stance on matters of sexuality and his handling of the abuse crisis drew anger. The highest-ranking Brit in the Vatican is Archbishop Paul Gallagher, who serves as Pope Francis's foreign minister.
Do you understand some of the hurt that was caused under Pope Benedict's papacy, whether it's amongst the LGBT community, whether it's amongst women in the church who didn't feel that they progressed as they might have done?
Yes, I suppose there were some expectations that people had which they felt were unfulfilled. I think that the Pope was very attentive to those things. He took them on board, he listened to them, and he gave a response which he believed was a response of faith and a response to the teaching of the Church in whatever we can. Now, I think Pope Francis is committed to doing exactly the same thing. Perhaps he manages it in a more sensitive way.
The ordination of women is still a vanishingly distant prospect, but the president of 600,000 religious sisters around the world says Benedict did start to improve women's position in the church.
I think that he opened a door. He tried to recognize the value of the women in the church. Even he couldn't, it was not ready to do maybe what we expected at that time. And maybe now, no, Pope Francis is was more open to continue to give power and energy to the women.
With the faithful gathering in Rome, there is a clear sense of an end of an era. As Pope Francis prepares to lay his predecessor to rest, there are many questions hanging in the Vatican air this evening. Will he reshape the church more radically without Benedict's presence? Or will he take his cue from him and decide, perhaps at some point himself, to step down? After almost 10 years in his retirement, tomorrow Pope Benedict finds final rest in the crypt of St. Peter at the heart of the church he served his whole life, as all around the faithful say farewell. Julie Etchingham, News at 10, Vatican City.